Hey guys, I just want to talk to you about alignment and strength calls today for our defense. It is very, very important that we get lined up correctly. Um, Being lined up correctly is the most important aspect of being a good defense. Um, we need to have our safeties, our outside linebackers, and our inside linebackers. You need to understand what we're going to talk about today. And getting the correct strength call gets all gaps of an offensive formation covered up with a defender. And so if we are not, if we made an incorrect strength call or a late strength call and we don't have every gap covered, and an offense calls a play that goes through that gap without a defender in it, it's going to be a big play or a touchdown. So our three basic rules, this is where you need to memorize these things. The number one factor is where is the tight end? And the tight end trumps everything. So where is the tight end? That's always where the strength of our defense is called, obviously strong right or strong left. So we look for the tight end first. If there isn't a tight end, then we get our eyes on how many wide receivers are on each side of the center. And we'll give you some examples over here. And then the third and final factor, if you can't determine strength by tight ends or amount of wideouts, then it's maybe which way is the running back offset to one side or the other. Our safeties and outside linebackers, you're also going to want to put this in your memory bank. 21, 22, 31, any kind of number of formations or number groupings where there's two eligibles to one side and one on the other side. So there's two eligibles on one side and two on the other. There's three on one side and one on the other. Now, how that gets made up, it would be a lot of different ways. So when you say there's two eligibles to one side, it could be a wideout and a tight end. It could be two wideouts. It could be two tight ends. And the one on the other side could be wideout or it could be a tight end. 22. So we're going to go over all that here in just a second. So our first top two boxes are examples of 21 sets for an offense. This first one is, again, that Mount Baker formation. Basic Mount Baker formation where there's a wide receiver and a tight end. So there's your two. And then there's your one on the backside. So we would obviously call strength to the tight end. That's the number one factor. So we would then line up, again, with our Sam and our strong safety, Will and free safety, and everybody else doing simple things. On this 21 set over here, there is no tight ends. So then our mindset would then go to how many wideouts are on each side. And if you look, there's two wide receivers on this side and one on the other. So we would call, again, strong left as a defense. So our Sam would now be triangled, and our strong safety would be over number two. We'll get more specific in our outside linebacker videos in the future, our safety videos in the future about specific things for specific position groups. But right now, we're just going to go fast here. On these examples of 22 sets, these are examples of two eligible receivers on each side. So in this example, you've got a wideout and a tight end. There's your two. And then on this side, you've got two wide receivers. There's your two. So that's why you get to 22. But again, the tight end trumps all. It's the number one factor. So we would set our defense, we'd call strong left, and our Sam would be there, and our Willie, or a weak side outside linebacker, would be on the weak side, where the defense is right. This example of 22, there are no tight ends. It's just two receivers on each side. So since one doesn't outweigh the other as far as the amount of wideouts on one side of the football, now this is where the third final factor could come in. Which way is the back offset? And so if the back's offset, we would actually call strong right as a defense because the back's offset to the offense's left and the will and the free. Okay? On the bottom here, examples of 31 sets now. Now there's three eligibles to one side. This first one has a tight end in there. It's got a tight end and two wideouts. So we'd call strong left as a defense. That would put our Sam up and on. And our strong safety, Will, and free. Again, we'll get into specifics later. And this is our last example of 31. Now it's just simply three receivers to one side, one on the other. So now our Sam would be a lot looser because it's a tight end. And we'll get into specifics about where everybody lines up later. Okay. Our next video, again, will continue with alignment and strength calls, but they'll be against unique formations. So you'll see our cowboy calls for our corners over, safety adjustments in tight end wingback scenarios, i.e. Mount Baker, and outside linebacker adjustments in lots of different formations. Okay, so this is just very basic information. If you have any questions, holler. But this is it in a nutshell. After our next video,